Greetings and welcome to the channel. I kindly request that you like and subscribe to assist us in growing our community even further. In recent weeks, the Denver Broncos have faced significant challenges on the defensive side of the ball, despite having been recognized as one of the most formidable defensive units in the National Football League for much of the current season. While the Broncos have generally excelled at generating turnovers, they have encountered difficulties when the unpredictable bounces of the football have not gone in their favor. Over the course of their last 5 games, the Broncos have allowed an average of 25.6 points per game, a stark contrast to the 16.6 points per game allowed during their first 11 matchups. What accounts for this noticeable shift in performance? Injuries have played a role in the Broncos' struggles, with cornerback Riley Moss missing 3 games. Although Moss returned in the most recent game against the Cincinnati Bengals, he appeared to be struggling, which had a negative impact on the Broncos' defensive approach. Specifically, this injury led to a decrease in the frequency of man-to-man coverage, an area in which the Broncos had previously excelled. With Moss on the field, the Broncos employed man coverage more than 45% of the time. However, without him, this dropped to just 30%. While injuries are an unfortunate reality for every team, the Broncos' difficulties can be traced back to 2 key positions that have been severely exposed in recent weeks. Safety. Brandon Jones has proven to be an excellent acquisition, making significant contributions to the team's defense, but his counterpart, P.J. Locke, has become a point of concern. The depth at the safety position has been an ongoing issue for the Broncos. Locke, while not necessarily performing poorly, has shown a lack of consistency from one snap to the next, leading to missed opportunities and defensive breakdowns. He has been responsible for a number of mistakes that have led to opposing offenses gaining significant yardage. The more pressing issue, however, lies at linebacker. Despite having Alex Singleton healthy and in the lineup, the Broncos' linebacker core remains one of the weakest in the NFL. Cody Barton's performance has mirrored Locke's in some respects, as he has had moments of brilliance but has struggled with maintaining consistency throughout the course of the game. Barton, too, has been accountable for several defensive miscues. Justin Sternad, who filled in for Singleton earlier in the season, initially made a strong impression, but in recent weeks, he has also been exposed. At the beginning of the season, there were widespread concerns regarding the lack of talent at both the safety and linebacker positions. While the Broncos' defensive scheme helped cover up these deficiencies for a time, and while Jones has been a standout performer, these weaknesses have become more apparent as opponents have figured out how to exploit them effectively. This is precisely what has been occurring in recent games. The Indianapolis Colts were the first to capitalize on these vulnerabilities, attacking the Broncos' defense in a direct manner. However, the Colts' offensive struggles prevented them from fully exploiting these weaknesses, and the Broncos' defense managed to generate turnovers and takeaways to help cover up the flaws. The following week, the Los Angeles Chargers took full advantage of the Broncos' defensive lapses, especially targeting the linebackers and safeties, which led to the Broncos suffering their 6th loss of the season. The Chargers' success with the Justin Herbert to Ladd McConkey connection was particularly damaging, as the offense used play action to freeze the linebackers and hit a deep route behind the safeties. The Broncos' linebackers, caught out of position due to their delayed drops, were unable to counter this strategy effectively. This pattern continued in the subsequent matchup with the Cincinnati Bengals. Although the Bengals did not rely heavily on play action, they still found success in exploiting the same defensive weaknesses, particularly in targeting the Broncos' linebackers and safeties. While the Broncos' defensive scheme was able to mask these vulnerabilities in the early part of the season, opposing teams have now figured out how to consistently attack these areas with success. The Bengals' targeting of the Broncos' linebackers and safeties will likely be overshadowed by the focus on Riley Moss, who was repeatedly picked on during the game, but it remains a critical issue for the team. In conclusion, whether through the draft or free agency, it is essential for Broncos general manager George Paton and head coach Sean Payton to address these 2 positions with urgency in the upcoming offseason. Upgrading the linebacker and safety spots must be a top priority in order for the team to contend effectively in the future.